The topic of this abstract is insights into refugee post-migration stress and breast cancer awareness. The purpose of this study was to investigate the relationship between refugee stress and the relationship with breast cancer. We focused on the Syrian refugee women who are settled in Houston, Texas. It is well known that breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer and the second leading cause of cancer death among women in the United States. Refugee women are less likely to undergo screening due to poor health literacy and other cultural factors, such as fatalism, patriarchy, etc. And this situation is maybe worse in high-risk populations, such as the displaced Syrians, which are one of the largest refugee populations in the world. More than 20,000 Syrian refugees are resettled in the United States, and Houston, Texas is an active refugee resettlement city. Psychological trauma and the practical challenges of displacement make preventive health practices negligible in this high-risk group. We recruited Syrian refugee women into the study through a Houston-based 501c3 nonprofit organization, Impacts. And we used two validated psychometric methods to survey Syrian refugee women. One was a validated breast cancer screening belief questionnaire, which was used to examine their breast cancer awareness and attitudes towards screening. Then refugee post-migration stress scale, which is a validated instrument which has been used in this population, customized for this population to examine perceived stress. The saliva was collected from Syrian refugees and also from Arab American controlled women for examination of cortisol, mitochondrial DNA, and salivary oxidative stress and inflammation parameters. According to breast cancer survey, approximately 50% of our sample had biased attitudes, limited knowledge, and reported elevated screening barriers with regards to breast cancer, as evident by scores below the 50th percentile. And in the refugee post-migration stress scale, Syrian refugee women reported high score in lack of host country competence. About 60% of Syrian refugee women reported high score in this subscale, and loss of home country subscale as well. 76% reported high scores in this subscale. And lack of host country competence and social strain scores were found to be significantly correlated with barriers to breast cancer screening. So loss of host country competence had an R value of 0.392, which was significant at 0.026, and social strain R value was 0.367 with significant statistical significance at p less than 0.39. In terms of the biochemical parameters, we observed that mitochondrial DNA, salivary mitochondrial DNA was significantly higher in Syrian refugee women than in Arab American controlled women. Cortisol also was significant in Syrian refugee women as compared to controls. This data is significant because considering the reported connection between psychological stress and the susceptibility to develop breast cancer. Breast cancer and RPMSS correlation indicate the interrelationship between high perceived stress and low breast cancer literacy and screening. Therefore, we think our data points towards an important result suggesting a significant correlation between displacement and refugee post-migration stress and breast cancer awareness, as well as increased stress, biochemical stress, and high inflammation in this high-risk population. Thank you.